readers. Today I want to talk to you about picking just right books. You will need, before we get started, you will need to have your reader's notebook and a pencil. So go ahead and pause the recording so that you can go and grab those. All right, now that you've grabbed your reader's notebook, I'd like for you to open it up to the very first page inside the notebook. And I'd like for you to copy down our mini lesson statement. It says, readers pick just right books for them so that they will understand and know what they are reading. So go ahead and pause the recording and write that sentence down at the very top of the page, just like I've written it on my chart paper. Okay, now that you've copied down that mini lesson statement, I'd like to talk to you about it. So I'm going to read it one more time. It says, readers pick just right books for them, those two words are underlined, make sure you've underlined them, so that they will understand and know what they are reading. I want to talk about those two words, for them. You might remember in the past going to the library with a friend, and maybe that friend is picking out different books than what you're picking out, and that's okay. But sometimes maybe you think, oh wow, I want to read whatever book it is, or you think, why is that person picking out picture books all the time? Well, maybe those books are just right for them, okay? So it's so important as a reader that you are picking out books that are just right for you so that you can know and understand what you read. So now I'd like for you to copy down this empty chart here. I want you to think about Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? So Goldilocks went to the house and she lay down in the Three Bears' beds. One bed was too hard, one bed was too soft or too easy, and one bed was just right. So go ahead and get this chart written down in your notebook. Go ahead and pause the video while you do that. All right, so first I want to talk to you about books that are too hard. So the main thing about books that are too hard, there's two things you need to know. Let's get this taped on here. The first one is that you don't know many words. You might know some of the words, but there are a lot of words that you just don't know or can't figure out from the story. And that brings me to my 5-finger rule. So what I did was I traced my hand, because one thing you should know about me, guys, I am a really bad drawer. I'm just really bad at it. Most of the years when I have students, they laugh at me because my drawings are so bad. So you'll have to be patient with me on that. So I'd like for you to copy down these two things along with that drawing of a hand or trace your hand. Meet me back here when you're done. Okay, so now that you've gotten that written down in your book, I want to talk to you about both of those things. Let's say that you're reading a sentence and there are many words in that sentence that you just don't know. Are you going to understand what that sentence is even about? It's going to be really hard for you to understand if there's a lot of words that you don't know. So I'd like to talk to you about something called the 5-finger rule. And you've probably heard your teachers talk about this before. So if you are reading a page in a book, let's say for example, you're reading a page in this book, Restart. Let's say that you have a page that looks like this. If there are more than 5 words on that page that you don't know or cannot figure out from the text, then that book is too hard for you. So the 5-finger rule is when there's a word for each finger on your hand that you don't know, then that book is too hard. All right? So go ahead and make sure you have that written down in your notebook, and we will move on to the too easy. So sometimes people pick books that are too easy. And here's how you can tell if a book is too easy for you. You know all the words. So I like to underline words when I want to emphasize them. If you're reading a book, and there's nothing wrong with it, as long as you don't do it all the time, But if you're reading a book that you already know by heart and you know all the words, that book is too easy for you. If you have heard the story lots and lots and lots of times and you already know the storyline and you already know what's going to happen, that book is too easy for you. If you can recite the story and you don't really have to think about what could be coming next in the story, you just already know, that book is too easy for you. Now, am I telling you that you cannot reread books that you love? No, I'm not. You can do that, but you don't want that to take up most of your reading time. You want that to take up a small part of your reading time. The reason why is because our reading skills are like muscles. We want to grow those muscles. So if we're only reading books that are too hard or only reading books that are too easy, then it's going to be hard for us to grow our muscles. Just like athletes grow their muscles when they're practicing their sport, or artists like musicians or painters, they have to practice their skills. So now I'd like to talk to you. Actually, before I do that, I want to make sure that you have enough time to copy this down. So if you need to pause the video while you copy that down, go ahead and do that. All right, now that you have had a chance to copy down how you know a book is too easy, now I'd like to talk about Goldilocks' bed that she fell in love with, the little bear's bed, right? She fell in love with it because it was just right for her. And that's what's going to make reading fun for you, is when you pick books that are just right for you. And here's how you can know that a book is just right for you. So in a just right book, you know most of the words. You don't know all of the words. You know most of the words. And you also can figure out new words. You can figure out new words by reading the sentence around it and figuring out what word would make sense. You could look up words in the dictionary. I do that all the time. When I come across a word that I haven't quite figured out what it is, or I don't know what it is, I look it up, and then I can put that knowledge into my brain, and now I have a new word that I know. Another way that you know a book is just right for you is that it's interesting to you. So I don't want to just talk about the words that are in the book. I want to talk to you about what the book is about. So you might be reading a book about football, but your friend that's sitting next to you, or your brother or sister, thinks football is so boring and they'd rather read about Star Wars. Does that mean the Star Wars book is a wrong book for that friend? No, it means it's right because their friend is interested in it. You need to pick the things that are interesting to you. Having said that, I am going to challenge us this year to read lots and lots of different kinds of books, but it's okay to have a favorite kind of book. All right, so if you need to pause the recording today, I would like for you to do that so that you can make sure you have all these things down and meet me back here when you're ready. All right, I would like for you today in your assignment, I would like for you to make a video for me that shows me a book that you have that is just right for you, okay? So I'd like for you to talk about the book, what makes it just right for you, how you know it's just right for you, and why you chose that book, all right? I want you to post that video to Canvas, and when you're done, I will see you back here for writing. Have a good morning, guys. Bye.